Welcome to the Financial Freedom Mastermind Group podcast. Here we're all about breaking free from the 40 to 50-year work grind and accelerating our journey towards financial freedom. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern as we explore different types of investments that can fast-track your path to financial independence. We serve as a hub for connecting with fellow members during our sessions so you can share successes, ask questions, and keep the momentum going.
This is Niyi Adewole, host of the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group. We are almost halfway through the year. Literally in a week and a half, we're going to be in July, and it went by like a blink. I can tell you that these weeks turn into months so quickly, and if you're not staying focused each and every day, it could really get away from you. I wanted to kick today off with just a tip of something that I do on almost a daily basis that helps to kind of refocus for the day and make sure that you're accomplishing what you need to accomplish. And so one of the things that I started doing last year is a journal, right? I started journaling. Now, I don't necessarily journal every day. I probably should do better. But what I do is I write down the most important 3 items for that day before the day starts or the night before heading into the next day to understand, hey, if I accomplish these 3 items and nothing else, I've done a heck of a lot for that day. And I try to pick 3 items that are really going to allow me to kind of accelerate, right? And 3 items that would change the course of the day to make it that much better. And so highly recommend, if you're not doing something like this and you're just creating like a whole task list that runs on forever and ever, you've got to start to break your day up into things that are going to be most impactful for moving your goals along. So an example of that, right, for today, one of my top 3 items was I needed to go to this house to make sure that we put the punch list together. It's a house that we're taking live under the property management team, and I'm the bottleneck for the initial piece of the property management. I got to get over there, take pictures for a punch list, put it together, and then hand it off to the operations manager to get going from there. And so that's one of the top 3 items that I had today to knock out, and we were able to get that done. And I feel pretty accomplished for the day, along with the other 2 items that we completed. But that's just one quick tip for maximizing each of your days. But this is going to be an open session. I wanted to open it up to anybody with any questions. Feel free to drop it in the chat. Feel free to join live, and we can kick it off from there. Another cool thing that happened this week is we got our first booking at the mansion, really our first 2 bookings. We got the second people staying right now, and they're doing kind of like an event, corporate event, where they have their whole company coming out to do like business planning in a different kind of area. I think they're more into like social planning of events. So this is kind of a way to get out, see a cool area, and kind of get the creative juices flowing. So that's pretty cool. But over the weekend, we had our very first guest. They loved the place, and it's starting to get booked out, at least for the weekends. During the week, we'll figure out the strategy for that and how we can get bookings. But excited to see the mansion starting to get booked out for the weekends, even though the price point is higher than anything that we've dealt in before. But that's one that's pretty exciting. And the video is up on YouTube, on the Ekabo Home YouTube. If you haven't seen it already, there's like a 2-minute video walkthrough that's pretty dope. If you're looking to do any events in Atlanta, check that one out. It's pretty awesome. And we got a question in the chat. What is up? Fade, welcome. Welcome. You said you were going to join, and you did, my guy. Anybody who wants to call in via the live chat feature, feel free, and I can accept you in. Would love to get the conversation started. Good call. If you're on your phone, you can't join the live call-in. You've got to do it from a computer to be able to join the live call-in. But Fade, if you're able to get to a computer, I know we caught up earlier this week. Would love to hear more about what you got going on, because it's very interesting. When we talked about the whole creative finance world last year, I know you're heavy in that space. You helped me dip my toe into that space, and you've been crushing it in the DMV for a while. So would love to hear more. Alpha, welcome. While we're waiting, any questions in the chat? Anything you got going on that you need some answers on, or anything that you're curious about? I see we got James on. James, I know you are working on this piece, and Fade is driving. So Fade, you got to be off the road next time, man. So we'll learn more about the creative financing next time he joins, because that's going to be awesome. He is kind of the expert in that piece. So we'll talk through that piece. But as far as the bookings for ATL for the Adams Mansion, it has been doing well. And actually, here, I'll show you the video that we got put together professionally by my guy, Justin Parham, who is an awesome videographer that actually works for the NBA. So, this is the video that we put together for the actual release of the Adams Mansion. I'm going to share my screen. Let's check it out. Here goes the Adams Mansion. So we got our first booking over the weekend for 2 nights. It was a group of 12 friends that came together and they really had an awesome time. And it was a really great stay. Not too much damage done to the place. And then we have a corporate event that's there right now. And we actually just asked them if they wanted to extend an additional day. So we're seeing if they're going to extend till tomorrow. But they paid about $2,000 for one day, right? When you factor in cleaning fees. So it's not bad at all. And then Alpha, to answer your other question, when you talk about real estate sales and ATL, it's really exploding, right? Typically, spring and summer is the time where it gets the busiest. I can tell you we are busy. We're expecting to get 2 offers accepted tonight. There's another one that's going to get declined, right? Because they had multiple offer situation. But 2 accepted tonight, and I got a listing going live tomorrow once we get the photos back. So the board is full. And fun fact, I want to give a shout out to Liban, who was on the Ekabo home team. He actually closed his first deal as a senior buyer's agent yesterday. Got to be there to witness it, and he's crushing it. And yes, there is a basketball court on the 4th floor. It's pretty crazy. So long story short, that is the mansion that went live this past week, and it's already getting booked up. I can tell you that the weekends are pretty full already. Now we're just trying to figure out what's the during the week strategy, because you don't want to lower the cost too much in something like this. You want to kind of keep it status quo. But we're talking to people about wedding events. We're talking to people about corporate events like the one that's going on now. And over the next couple of weeks, we're just going to start doing outreach to different studios and try to see what type of clientele that we can drum up for this. But the best thing about the mansion in my eyes is it's bringing more people to our direct booking site, which we have all the other B&Bs on. And so we manage about 20 or so B&Bs with a couple more going live here soon. I want to say we're going to be at 25 by the end of July. And so with that in mind, when people come to the direct booking site to look for the mansion, they're also going to see all these other options, and say they're having a big event where people are coming from all over for a wedding event, right? Maybe they host the wedding at the mansion, but they stay within our network of homes all over. It could be a win-win. And so I'm excited about that piece, to be able to kind of leverage that to pull more eyes to our website. One quick update. Finally, it seems the pathway is clearing to closing that fourplex that I've been talking about for weeks now. It was supposed to close about 3 weeks ago, but we are officially going to be clear to close later this week, and we're going to close it early next week until the work will begin. With this deal, was able to negotiate a significant amount of credits and then use a portion of those credits to actually pay the contractors at closing. This is a way that you can kind of go above the allotted limit, but then give it back to the seller and have it go on the seller's settlement statement, to where a check is cut directly to a contractor. And it's another way to creatively finance a rehab. And so the way this one was done, because I'm going to be renovating just one unit, it's actually going to allow that whole cost of the unit to be completed. I think the renovation budget that I was given was 23K, and I have about 25K that's going to be a check cut to a contractor. And so super excited about that. Super excited about that. And I'm with you, James. I'm pumped about that too. It's a great way to be able to utilize your FHA or your personal home loan to put down a little bit less. I personally utilized a bank statement loan because I'm now 1099, and that allowed me to put down 10% on a quote unquote personal home, where I can move into one unit, rent out the other 3 units, and house hack. So planning to renovate the unit that I'm going to move into and then get that thing furnished and kind of go from there. We got Desmond joining.
Yo,
Desmond, welcome.
what's up, man? How's it going?
Super good. Super good. It is Wednesday, but I'm feeling pretty good, man. There's a lot going on, like good things. It's just it all needs
Nice.
to come together. All
What you
needs to
got
come
going
together
on?
before the end of the week. Trying to close in that fourplex,
You're right.
getting close.
Nice.
And so now I know I keep saying it, but now it's looking like early next week we can make it happen.
Okay.
Kareem, how you doing?
What's up, Kareem?
What's up, John? How's it going?
Super good.
Good.
Super good. We got our guy. I don't know if you remember, Desmond, you definitely weren't here for this, but Kareem, did you meet Fade before? Do you remember him from last year? I don't know if you were on
Last
at the
year?
time. You may not have been on at that time, but yeah, it was earlier last year. But he's going to be joining here shortly, and he does a lot of creative financing in the DMV area. And so it'd be good to hear more some of those stories and how you can kind of utilize that. I can tell you that I contacted him. Was this last year or the year before? It might have been the year before that, actually, but it was either last year or late 2021 to try and put one in contract and make it happen. Wasn't able to come to terms with the homeowner because they were super unrealistic, but it was definitely a cool process to understand, like, hey, this is being done and this is kind of the steps that you can take to get it done.
Yeah. Is this one of the ways where you can take over payments from an original owner? And yeah. Okay.
Correct. So like the subject to and things of that nature. Innovation agreements, yes. But outside of that, Desmond, you got some bookings yet or what?
Man, so which one for my unit that opened back up?
Yeah, because you switched the lady over, right? So yeah,
Right.
the unit opened up.
Yeah, man. I've gotten some bookings. I've had some people come and go. 2 people actually, and there's no one in there right now. I think there's someone checking in tomorrow, but I actually have the other unit closed down. Yeah, because I have a leak, and it's actually the same problem that I think Alpha is having or had. I think he might have gotten it fixed by now, but I'm having water come under the floor, and it's getting the carpet wet. And at first, it was just the edges of the carpet. At least I thought, because I hadn't really pulled the carpet up too much. But now I pulled it up because in the corner, and this is in the living room, so there's 2 exterior walls, and they meet in this corner. It was soaked, right? So I had to I pulled the carpet up, and it was really, really wet, right? And a lot of the carpet pad, even the subfloor under was super wet. So I pulled that up. I've got fans in there blowing right now, and actually on Friday I'm gonna have some folks come and install a French drain system, and I took that approach to ideally avoid getting a sump pump, which is actually the route that Alpha went. But I kind of read up, and maybe this is me, reading on the internet too much. You can't believe everything you hear on the internet, right? But yeah, I was reading, and they were saying that it can, in some sales, people can look at that as a negative, right? And as that you have water intrusion issues, and you do, right? And I didn't like that the sump pump, it just drives the water away instead of preventing it from coming in. It just takes it out, right? So I'm going the French drain. They're coming in and putting it on Friday. It's gonna be $2,800, and they're only doing half of the house because it's only on one unit. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that fixes the issue. They have a lifetime warranty, so that's
nice.
good. But, yeah.
I like the lifetime warranty.
Me too.
French drain and sump pump, they both kind of accomplish the same thing. I actually have both at the house that I'm at, right? I got a sump pump in the unfinished area next to the HVAC for the condensation. If anything were to happen, it'll start pumping like crazy. And then we got the French drain on the garage because it's a really steep incline. But I'm assuming this is popping up now because it's been raining nonstop for the last week, and it's supposed to rain nonstop for it's been raining every day, actually. It's supposed to rain the next week too.
Yeah.
So you just noticed it? Did a guest notice it, or did you notice it?
So luckily, guests haven't noticed it. No one's reported it, and we actually noticed it a month ago because it's been raining for a month, on and on. Well, it's been kind of nice for this past week or 2 or whatever, but before it's been raining as well, right? So I've noticed it actually a month ago, and I've been going in there between guests. I haven't had to close it off yet, but now it's gotten to the point where it's creeping out. It's been raining so much that it's creeping past just being the corners. It's coming into the living room, right, where someone would notice it. It's freaking soaked. It's a problem. So I had to block it off, but I've been going in there between guests and drying it and pulling up the carpet just a little bit and drying it and then putting it back. And that's been working out. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. That's interesting to hear that you have both. I didn't know that people did that. So that's, interesting to hear. And I might end up having to go that route, right? Or switch one for the other. We'll see. But I'm hoping that this kind of fixes it. And this was the cheaper option, kind of by far. Like the sump pump was almost like double. So yeah.
No, that is fair. That is fair. It's never fun to deal with water issues. I think everybody on here can attest, right? I've dealt with it. It's not fun. I can show you videos of me like pillaging water out of the garage because one of the systems wasn't working, right? It's like, oh, okay, I got to get that piece back up and running. And so, yeah, it's never fun. I could actually, there was one time, right? So, and this was a couple months ago where I pulled up. It was like, probably 11, 12. We were out having dinner with friends, things of that nature. And I pull up to the garage, getting ready to back down and like park in. And you're seeing like a reflection from the lights. So you're like, hold up, let me stop. Let me not back in. And the water is literally up to like maybe 2 feet, right? So, from midnight to 2 a.m., you're like pillaging water and then you got the shop back. It was interesting.
Dang.
It was an interesting way to head from Saturday into Sunday. But this is all a part of the overall landscape. And this is why I preach seeing the forest from the trees. There's always going to be some things that kind of hit along the way. But the piece that I think about is like, dude, you got 100+K in equity in like 2 years, right? So it's fine. It's all going to be good. You just got to make it through this piece, fix the situation, and keep going from there.
Right. And like, honestly, I'm really not even tripping because luckily things have been going well, right? And I haven't had to deal with too many issues. And I've been getting bookings. So like, I'm kind of prepared for something like this to happen, which is, it's nice to be able to, say that and be able to be in that position. And maybe that's a point to say, like, have some reserves, right? Or at least have some credit cards with some nice limits. That's kind of my approach. Like, I have reserves, right? At least that I know I have money somewhere that I could go pull from, right? But for me, I kind of lean more on, like, having a credit card readily available that I can deploy because I try to move most of my spending there. Especially I was listening to Tony Robinson talking about how he went on this, like some crazy luxury, like $15,000 vacation for almost like $500 or something like that. So that made me think, and I've gotten some new credit cards lately that I've been spending, and the new B&B has, or really the new midterm rental, I should say, has kind of let me hit a bonus. So maybe I'll be going on a trip soon. We'll see.
Nice, dude. That's and Kareem, I don't know if you do that too. Do you do the credit card hacking?
Well, the points and stuff, yeah, I do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I just got into a couple years ago. And when you're buying a bunch of property, especially like midterm, short-term rentals, it makes so much sense, man. Every time I get a new property, I look and seek out a new card. Or anytime I create a new business, I seek out a new card for it that's going to give a lot of bonuses and benefits. Like, for example, for my realtor business, look at it. There it goes.
That's stacked,
How do you
bro.
keep track?
That's stacked,
How
bro.
do you keep track?
I have an Excel sheet.
So you're serious about it then?
Man,
So you're into like hacking, like credit card hacking, like you consider like something you do, right? Because some people like kind of do it, but like if you have a spreadsheet, I feel like you're into it. Like,
Look, it's not that complicated. I usually use the ones with the higher points for groceries and stuff like that. They're the same, right? And then like the American Express Gold, for example, you're gonna put that on like your groceries and like supermarket and restaurants and that kind of stuff because it gives you like 4 to 5%. And then I just rotate, and I have them set to like pay the balance at the end of the month automatic. So, I don't make like any crazy purchases and stuff like that. So if I put $20, $30, $40 here and there on the cards, it gets deducted automatically. I don't have to worry about it.
We got a question in the chat. What's the best cards with the bonuses that you've seen recently?
So one I'm using right now that I just got and I'm trying to hit the bonus for is the Chase Sapphire Preferred is what it's called. They have a few and they're similar, but I think it's that one. And they're doing
Very good.
yeah, it's really good for travel, I've heard, and they're doing like an 80,000 point bonus right now if you spend 6,000 in the first 3 months. So I'm doing that one. I also got the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited, I think is what it's called. And they're both no fee. And I just downgraded my Amex Platinum, which was like a crazy fee. But they had a nice bonus last year. But I just got the Business Inc. Unlimited, which is also
You got
nice.
two of those.
Yeah, you got two. So I've heard you can do multiple, and I want to end up. I want to get there. See, he's advanced with it, but they're doing a similar bonus. I think it's like 75,000 if you do 6K, and that's like 750 in straight up cash. And then if you spend it for travel, it's 1.25x multiplier for Chase, so it's even more. So yeah, I think we'll be going on some trips soon.
Cream, what about you, man?
Yeah.
You got anything to add to that? Any good cards?
Depending on the purpose, because every card will have a bonus category, and they will give you like a 1% or something like that on everything else. So for travel, for example, the one that Desmond mentioned, the Chase, is it Sapphire? Right? Yeah, Chase Sapphire was a great one for travel. For everyday expenditure, I would say the Amex Gold, Amex Platinum. If you're a big family and you're spending about, I don't remember, it's gonna run you like $700 a year.
Pricey.
But it really, like, it pays you back, but like you have to be spending like your monthly bills and expenses that you put on the card should be like I think probably in the 5 to 10,000 range. It will really pay back. What else? I recommend going to creditcards.com and just running, like, put the purpose like best cards for supermarkets, best cards for gas, best cards for travel, and it'll just give you a list and you can check the columns and compare the cards.
That's pretty cool. No, and definitely haven't tried out the Amex Platinum, but may want to check it out for business purchases because typically, I think you said it best. It all depends on what you're trying to use it for. So, like a lot of the credit cards I got early on was, hey, I'm trying to furnish a place and I don't want to pay anything for a long time, right? So, like when I did the art house last year, and Desmond, you got to see that like in progress, right? Spent about 40K on that because it was 2 units and I wanted to make it nice, all that stuff. So, went a little bit overboard. But long story short, didn't have a payment due, 0% interest until August of this year, and just finished paying that card off about a month ago. So now it's all gravy, right? And I had the furniture essentially paid for by the guests, which is awesome. And you got 2 units up, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that was that card. But for the actual short-term rental management business, I've been using the Chase, and don't quote me on which one it is, but I think I need to take a look at. Go ahead.
Freedom.
I think it might be Chase Freedom. It may be Chase Freedom.
Freedom and Slate. Slate is the 0% introductory rate, and Freedom, that's the one that gives you 3% on like most purchases.
I think I started with Freedom, and then now I switched it to Unlimited. Chase Unlimited.
Freedom Unlimited.
Freedom Unlimited. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so I do have Chase Freedom. I got the Freedom Unlimited, right? And that's what I'm using for the short-term rental management. That being said, I looked at what we've spent like over the last like this year, because we've taken so many property. Well, no, over the last 12 months, because we've taken so many properties live, and for most owners, we're buying the stuff and then invoicing back for it. We've literally spent over $500,000 on just credit card purchases, right? Most of it not ours, right? But just credit card purchases. And so have been using those points for random stuff, right? Gift cards, things of that nature, some travel and things of that nature, but definitely want to be able to take advantage as we head into this next year. There's so much linked to that card. I just think about like, man, switching everything over and making sure you don't miss any of the payments that are going to come across. But it does need to happen because, to your point, if you go get an Amex card, they could probably give you even more points.
Man, $500,000, you could be like Diamond, Supreme, Platinum at like some of these like hotel places and like flight companies and stuff, right? That's crazy.
But some of those too, they don't give you as many bonuses when it's a business, if that makes any sense. Like a lot of the bonuses, like the miles and things of that nature, are for like personal. The business cards, they don't do as crazy, I feel like.
They are, but if you can find one that does good, like that does have a good bonus, like the Business Inc., I think you can get multiple, like Kareem has, just by using different EINs, right? And then I think they look at it as like a different application, like a different like person, right? A different company. So you can get that bonus, like I think multiple times. And I think that like if you're still tying your personal name to it, there's there still might be some certain limit that you hit, but I know you can at least get it 2 times. And if you're not tying your personal name to it, and yeah, it's not your
That's
name
going to
at all
take
in the
time. It's
application.
not going to happen right away. Your
Yeah.
name will most likely, like 99% of the time, they'll be attached to it. Especially if that LLC is less than 2 years
Oh,
old.
you froze for a second.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was me.
Yeah, I thought it was me too. You froze for a second, Kareem.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said especially if the LLC is less than 2 years old or within like 5 years, most likely you need to be the guarantor of the loan.
Yeah, and that's something I want to get more savvy with. I have 2 LLCs that my buddy actually set up for me because he has a LLC that sets up small companies for people, which is like very meta, I guess. But he set them up for me, but I haven't really used them, and they're kind of just sitting. And I set up like one bank account, I haven't used them, but I want to get into Turo. That's kind of something else I want to check out because I know people are making money on Turo, and I rented a Corvette this weekend. It was my birthday on Saturday, so I rented a Vet on. Thank you.
Happy
I'm
belated.
26. Yeah, man. Out of the mid-20s.
Hey, you getting up there, man. You getting up there.
I know. It's just getting crazy. But yeah, so I rented the Vet on Turo. It was super expensive, but we were willing to pay it because like it was my birthday, and I was like, man, like, I want to have fun. Been working hard. And I was actually talking to the guy, and he was kind of giving me some free game on like, here's how you like get into it, and here's how you purchase these cars without your money and use the bank's money or OPM, right, other people's money to buy these cars. And he had a Vet C8, which is super nice. It's blue, super nice. Wish I could post a picture, but he had a Beamer, a Tesla, and another car as well on his like Turo profile. He also had like Airbnbs, so he's doing multiple things, right? He's like an entrepreneur, but he basically bought these cars with the loans of an LLC, and then paid back those loans with the proceeds, right? So it's similar to like using the credit cards, right, and then just paying that money back with some. Well, not so similar because you have to pay that money back with interest regardless, and the credit card, it's nice to use at 0%, but I guess he looks at it as like, oh, if you're taking $100K to pay back 115 or 120, maybe that's worth it. Maybe you can go flip that to 200. I don't know, depending on your terms, depending on your credit. But that's something I want to get into for sure. And I was in the Corvette, like, man, like I gotta have one of these.
It motivated you.
Man, it did.
I like the idea of Turo and things of that nature. It's just the 2 things I think about is one, time, like, and he probably has people working for him that can help with this, but the time of like, how do I get the car to somebody and get it back? And then 2, the risk, because it's moving. It's like at least a house, it's stationary. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
But you're moving on the road. People are texting, we all do it, right? So if somebody's driving a new car, I'm sure you weren't going the speed limit in this Corvette. You weren't doing 45 on the highway.
Yeah. No. I definitely wasn't. No, in the right lane.
I'd be a little nervous. About that piece personally. But if you do it or somebody else does it, I think it'd be cool to learn and kind of see like, hey, is there a way? Because we talked about it before, but having the Airbnbs and being able to kind of combine the 2, that could be a play, right? Where you kind of put, maybe, hey, you can come to our B&B and we have a car waiting for you.
It could absolutely be a play. And like, I'm near the airport, and I know, Alfred, you're near the airport too, so I know you're watching this, and maybe you could get into Turo as well, right? I think specifically near the airport, it could do well. And I could say, like you said, Niyi, I have the car waiting for you. Keys will be in the living room, right? It'll be set up. And I think that could be a move. And I think for me specifically, I would leave it. I would only let people pick it up like over here. I'm not going to bring it to you. Like I'd let you pick it up down the street. I know a lot of people will do that, right? Like I drove to, I don't know, like 45 minutes away from here, right, to get the car. And it was in a shopping center, I'm sure, like near the guy's house. So being like me working from home, I might be able to do that, right? But I at least want to try it out, maybe get someone to like pick the car up and drop it off or whatnot. But I know money could be made there, and it'd be cool to have a car. Just the risk is a piece that is interesting, but I know people do it. Like I actually saw Richie, the lender, right? I follow him on Instagram. He has a fleet of cars.
He's huge with it. He's huge with it.
Yeah. So, hey, Richie, if you're watching this, get at me. I'm trying to learn about this, But yeah, so I wanna get on that and figure that out. But I want to mitigate the risk and get good insurance at least, and hopefully no one wrecks my car. But we'll see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kareem, what are your thoughts on Turo, man? Have you thought about getting into that?
I investigated a little bit. It looked like I wasn't sure. To be honest with you, I just got too lazy about like learning a brand new thing, and that was at that time when I had already started my Amazon brand, and I started my Airbnb business, and it was just like a lot of things at the same time. So I just put that on the back burner for a second till I figure these two out, and then plus my still had the full-time job, right? But yeah, but I was always interested about Turo.
Yeah, and that's
So
kind of
Yeah.
where I'm at. That's where I'm
yeah.
at. I'm not sure, and I see James's comment too, saying a lot of accidents and thefts, and that definitely scares me, right? Because I don't want to deal with that, and I honestly don't really have time to deal with that. So I'll say it's an interest. I'm not sold on it,
I mean,
and
I'm sure there's a clear mitigation plan to these things,
yeah,
and I also understand that when you have like a fleet or multiple vehicles, then the risk you're taking is actually less because you have other vehicles covering one another. If one broke down, you can potentially use the revenue from the other
right,
ones to right
right,
versus just having one asset too.
right.
Agreed. Dude, that not only is for the cars, but it's for what we're doing with the real estate piece. Like
Absolutely.
literally, when I had that first house in Louisville, if something went down, I'm shaking in my boots because I don't have reserves, right? But maybe you got to keep 10K in the bank or 5K in the bank for that one house. When you have 20 houses, you don't got to keep 100K in the bank. You just need like, maybe 25K or something like that, right?
Right.
Because they'll cover each other if one goes down. And that's what kind of made the art house deal work because it was 2 units. I was like, okay, I can put 40 into this and be okay because the main house will cover the mortgage. The back house is gravy, right? Which will then just pay the credit card and they kind of come together. And now it's like, one is at least constantly booked. So it's good. It's good. It's good to have more units to kind of spread out that risk. That's why I get so excited about that Snellville property, being able to spread the risk out with that one.
Yeah, you
4
get a
units.
lot of economies of scale, obviously, with multiple assets. Like I'm really struggling with like the dumbest thing right now because I have only one unit. It's the maintenance and the housekeeping and that kind of stuff. Cleaning is fine, it's taken care of, but just the ability to just to call someone like, hey, can you go check on these tenants like or the guests like right now or in 2 hours or in 3 hours? It's still kind of a hurdle. Like every time this happens, I have to put an order on Thumbtack or TaskRabbit or something and vet them and wait for them to respond. And usually they don't show up on the same day. So you know, yeah, that's the hurdle for me right now.
True. True. And it's one of those things where once you dip your toe in and you kind of know, hey, I like this, I can make this into a business. The goal is to get to scale so that you can start to leverage that. Like I can tell you, initially it was a lot of time on my part, kind of driving all over the place, kind of handling, the 4 or 5 units and just a lot of a lot of 24/7, kind of on the weekends, all that stuff. But now that we've gotten to scale, to your point, now we have full on team members, right? We got operations managers, we've got maintenance guys where they were doing Thumbtack before, but now this is their main gig. They're looking to us first. We're like, hey, today you're going to hit this, that, and the other. We've got the cleaning teams, all that stuff. And it's kind of coming together to where it's getting easier and easier to where, like, with this new property that we're bringing on, I literally just come in, take pictures of the punch list, kind of take a look around. All right, hey, we should change this, that, and the other. Take some pictures, detailed notes. Takes about an hour, right? And then I send it to the operations manager and the team gets going, right? So it will come, you just got to get to that scale and build little by little. And the management piece actually helped with getting there because couldn't do that solo. I would have to get at least like 6, 7, 8 units before you can start hiring other people. But having the management piece explode has helped pull some more individuals on. And James is telling an incredible story in the chat about individuals stealing cars from Turo and taking it to Mexico. It's pretty incredible, man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna let Desmond test out Turo first, just like you tested out Booking.com and come back and let us know if it's safe.
I think I might. I think I might chill on it, honestly, because really I want to be bullish. I want to be bullish on these arbitrages just because. Well, I want to find easy to deal with host, and the one that I have now, I'm not so sure that she's going to be that way. She's kind of been asking me for things, and she wanted to see, or yeah, wanted to see the agreement that I had with the guest, and we had never talked about that. Right, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why do you want to see that? And we kind of went back and forth. I ended up sending it to her because I was like, well, I guess like, and like the subtenant likes the place and she wants to stay there for a while. So I was like, I guess like, what's the worst that could happen? But I did blank out the amount, right? And she asked me about that, and I was like, we're not gonna.
Did you blank out the contact info too, like the contact name and email?
No, so the email isn't on there, so I didn't want to include that stuff, but the name is on there, and that's actually something that she was concerned about. And a big reason she wanted to see the agreement was because she's like, well, if this person, really, I shot myself in the foot, and this is a lesson to say, don't say more than you don't have to, right? Because I was talking to the landlord and saying, hey, yeah, like the tenant's going to be moving in, and I think they're going to stay for a couple of months. I shouldn't have said that because that kind of alerted them. They were like, oh, like a couple of months, and she's worried about the 30-day like tenant rights, right? Which reasonably so. Like as an owner, I understand that, right? And she wants to know who's living there, so that if she does have to end up evicting someone, and I run to Mexico, right? She like knows who's staying there. So I was like, I understand your risk. We didn't talk about those terms, but I was like, I will concede because I want this to go well. Right? I am at the end of the day making money from this, so like I want this to go well if I can make it do so. But yeah, I want to try to branch out and look for other owners that are a little more easy, and honestly try like some high-rise places or like bigger, more corporate owners that are willing, even they probably will say it on their website, hey, we allow this, right? Because that would be cool. And I know they're not going to be on my back. I could do probably whatever I want and they not even know or look. Not to say I'm going to be like breaking the rules or anything, right? But it's cool. I've realized now, even just being like a month or so, barely a month into this, it's nice to go the extra step and like find landlords and owners that are like going to be like cooperative and easy to work with, right? Like, don't just work with the owner because like you want to get the house, like they're allowing arbitrage. Like, I think there's definitely some value to like having someone who's easy to work with, and like you guys are on the same terms up front, and they're willing to put it in the lease too, because that's another big thing. This landlord wasn't willing to like change the lease. We just kind of had like a verbal agreement, like, hey, like I'm gonna let you do this, but like I'm not really gonna like say anything. Like you're not really gonna say anything. We're just kind of like gonna let it happen, right? So that's kind of how it's working now, and it's working out. But I wouldn't advise that.
No, but this is the first one, like literally the first management agreement I had, right? And this is completely different fields, but the first one I had was, it was kind of all over the place, man. It was like, all right, hey, so we're going to charge X%. And then, hey, is there a fee for this? Well, I'm not sure. Let's figure it out, right? And it was kind of like, and then you look at the books. I'm like, hey, I'm losing money on this. Let's come back together.
Wait a second.
Spend a lot of time and burning energy on this thing. Let's look at this again. But it helps you get to the next one, and by the time you're doing the second one, you're going to be so refined and have your story down packed and be able to tell people like, hey, no, I've done this before. Da.
And that's the cool part.
Oh, that's the amazing part. And what you said too, even putting a tenant in there that could stay for a bit longer, that's what our team's starting to try to lean into. I don't know if anybody listened to that latest episode with Jesse Vasquez from Bigger Pockets. He did like a part 2. It was really good. It was like a couple days ago. But long story short, he's the guy that's really good at midterm rentals over on the West Coast. And so we have 20 properties under management, going to be 25 by the end of July. So we want to start leaning into that, right? And so I have one of my team members who I'm meeting with on Friday, and we're going to be talking in detail about that piece and how we can kind of work that into his role of reaching out to different individuals, because I have some contacts. It's just the time, right? The time to actually do it. Yeah. So reach out to different individuals, start to follow up, put notes in the system so we can get some midterm rentals for our investors and kind of bring value from that standpoint. But Fade, welcome, man. You joined during the last 5 minutes. What you got, man? Yeah. Dude, no, you're good, because the work that you're doing is, one, it's helping individuals, because when you get in a situation like that, I can tell you that I was in a family where we were bankrupt for a bit when I was growing up. It was not fun. It would have been good to have someone to be able to have that conversation and kind of get us out of that situation. But to that point, I think it's amazing and everybody would love to hear a little bit more. We'll extend a little bit. We're going to cut at 8. But Fade, do you mind just giving a high level background of how you got into real estate and what type of deals that you go after and how you acquire? Not so much. Not so much. No. Dude, that two things. One, it's incredible. You went through that at a high speed, but I know you can break down different deals that you've done before, and this one is one I think a lot of us would be interested in. A lot of people who are definitely like even newer into real estate are thinking, "Hey, they hear the podcast talking about, creative financing, things of that nature, and they're like, "Hey, I want to get into this. I want to go find the sellers. I want to have that conversation." But was this a one and done conversation, or was this one where you were talking to the person a couple times where you had to work on them to kind of get them to the point where they're ready to sign? That's incredible. That is incredible. Desmond, did you have a question?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And thanks for sharing that and like giving the detail. Yeah, I mean, just the question I have is like you said it took years for this guy to agree to it and you were kind of working on him for a while. Typically, how long does it take for you to get someone on board? Like, is that like a pretty tough conversation to have? Because I feel like, I mean, I guess like you said, the incentive there is that they're getting, more money at the end of the day versus if you were going to be able to give them cash. But it seems like it could be a hard pill to swallow that, hey, I'm not going to give you all that money now. I'm going to spread it over like 20 years. Right. So are folks typically comfortable with that, or is it like kind of finding like a needle in the haystack and like you really have to dig and kind of like wholesaling, like it takes like 1,000 like written letters or whatever it might be, because I hear people doing kind of like crazy things almost to attract sellers for wholesaling. So is it kind of similar? Yeah, that makes sense. Right. Mm,
No,
makes sense.
that makes a lot of sense. And we definitely have to continue this conversation in the future because I know there's a lot more examples and even just explaining what novation is, what TTP was, which was mentioned earlier. But Fade, we appreciate you hopping on. I know it's a lot going on. Desmond, good to see you. Kareem, good to see you. And everyone, I hope you have an awesome Wednesday and we will be able to catch up here next week. And Fade, if you're able to join, we'd love to continue this conversation as well, man. No worries. Hey, come on now. You're making it happen. At the end of the day, that's the key. It's just staying consistent and being able to make it happen. And I can tell you, I have been out there door knocking. So, hey, I like it. I like it. I like it. I want to hear about how that strategy is working too. Because, I mean, it's taking it back to a bit of old school, right? This is what people were doing back in 08, 09, things of that nature. But the fact that it's still working today is incredible. Done and done. All right, y'all. Hey, have a good Wednesday. I will catch you next week.